warmth to our spirit, and the knowledge that someone cares brings warmth to the heart. A for Apple Learning Center has served the community for over 25 years and is dedicated to supporting and connecting families to essential resources in our community.
This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, all jazz in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
When feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or frustrated, what does self-care look like? It looks like doing something to clear your mind, such as meditating, painting, making a playlist, going outside. You can also stay connected with friends and loved ones. If you feel alone, look for an online community with shared interests or volunteer to help people in need. And use virtual sessions to talk with a mental health professional. They're here to help. If you need support, call the Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio. Gasworks Parks has been nominated as one of the best city parks in North America by USA Today. Gasworks Parks in Seattle's Wallingford neighborhood is known for its stunning views of Lake Union and downtown Seattle. The park joins 19 other city parks, including Balboa Park in San Diego and Forest Park in Portland, Oregon. USA Today says the parks were chosen with the help of a team of park and planning experts. Voting is now open to choose your favorite park. Seattle is number 9 on the list. The top 10 parks will be announced on February 26th. And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not trying out new wigs and cocktail dresses, I'm listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night.
Hey. Hopefully you were tuned into the conversation earlier. A panel discussion that was moderated by Anthony Tackett, where basically they just talked about, sales and marketing and distribution in general, and then being black while doing that, or making a black film while doing that, and what that process was. If you're just tuning in right now, go back and check it out. Really interesting conversation. Welcome to Friday Family Film Night. This is Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and all month long we're celebrating and educating folks about Black history during Black History Month, trying to provide you with a holistic, comprehensive Black experience. So we're doing a number of different things. We have dance performances, we've got musical performances, we've got film night. Earlier, also today, we had conversations with Northwest legacy builders and history makers, and we talked with Vivian Phillips and Elmer Dixon and Bernie Foster and Don Mason, Omari Tahir Garrett, Trish Melanie Zyko, number of different folks. And one of the great things about being able to do this is to share the history with you from folks themselves. And so you get it archived and you hear an oral history. And a lot of what you hear in these conversations are things that you're not going to be able to find written down anywhere. You won't see it in the public education system. There may be some things that are available now as we have more of a digital platform for you to be able to go out and find out. But the whole point of this and doing everything that we're doing, and the Hartsfield Quilt Collection, which is the largest and oldest collection of slave quilts in the world. Yes, the culture of quilting is something that's also in the Black community, started during slavery. And the quilts held codes in them. These codes would give runaway slaves, as an example, information on if this was a safe house or things that may be going on, which road to take. They also had other messages that they would share with families that would be passed down traditionally in the patterns. And then there'd also be messages to other slaves, so that when they wanted to share things about what's going on. Now, if you check with academia, white academia, they'll say this doesn't exist because they can't validate it or verify it. Well, as we know, if it was written down, people would have been killed. So, of course, it wasn't written down. And that discredits the ingenuity of a people to find a way, even despite the oppressor, to survive and share information and share messaging. Communication has always happened. And so this ingenuity should not be one that should be questioned, especially when it's being passed down orally. And what you got from Jim Thorpe from the Hartfield Quote Collection was, again, um, an oral presentation. We're so excited to be, then we've got tech programs talking about the digital divide. We've also we're holding race and justice workshops, town hall meetings. We're going to be talking next week with some folks from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to share information with you about the 100th anniversary of the destruction of Black Wall Street. I hope you know about that. If not, you're really going to find this interesting. Um, So just a number of different things going on. The thought is that if we give you enough to choose from, then you'll say, hey, I don't have to just wait 1 month to learn about Black history. It's American history. So find something that gets you interested and then just keep probing and find out more. You may have to dig a little harder, do a little bit more due diligence, but you'll get there. And Black History Month provides the platform for you to kind of say, hey, I want to learn more about this, but if you don't get a lead, you may not know where to follow. So that's what we're trying to do. It's where we're all over the place. But tonight, it's Friday film night, and I would like to welcome, happy to have with us Sam Hampton. Sam, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Well, awesome, Sam. Sam is an award-winning filmmaker and co-founded Docs in Progress, an education resource for filmmakers. Also served as executive director of a Capitol Hill technology nonprofit, program director for higher education initiatives at the Executive Leadership Foundation, and with the New York State Health Department. Sam holds a PhD in urban education from Cleveland State University, undertaking research at the Ohio State University. He's also served on the board of the Harley School Selection Committee of the American Film Institute's Documentary Film Festival, and advisory board for the Seattle Social Justice Film Festival. All right. I got to ask you, man, with all those things, the thing that comes to mind is urban education at Cleveland State University. You know, what
Yeah.
but that one got me, man. I just got to, what led you to that particular field of interest?
Well, I got my PhD quite a while ago, and I got my master's actually in clinical psychology, and I thought I had a career in doing therapy, but I felt like at the time, I felt like education was really a challenge to Black communities, and I felt like education reform was something that was really needed, something that really needed to happen. And I don't know, I felt like that was just a direction I wanted to go into. So I pursued that, and my career after that was involved in education, nonprofits, and it was always about helping underserved populations, underserved communities, rise up. So that's kind of how it started.
Well, happy Black History Month.
Yeah.
And this is a time that, as a country, we take to celebrate and honor the contributions of African Americans to American history. I didn't mention that later on next week, we're also going to be broadcasting a Black History Month celebration from Africa. We're going to be broadcasting a Black History Month celebration from Paris, France, and also one from British Columbia. This is African American history coming from other countries and how they view our historical experience in this. Having said that, there are a lot of different thoughts on this. Just again, in 1925, Carter G. Woodson got the idea because he could not find information on Black Americans and what they had contributed. And as we know, a lot of that information was assigned to someone else when we did create things. And he said, okay, this has to change. We have to track our history. And so in 1926 was the first celebration of Negro History Week. Fast forwarding to 1976, it became Black History Month. You hear different things. You at one time there was thought, well, it's not really needed. Then you hear folks say, well, it should be every month. Why is it the shortest month of the year? What are your thoughts on Black History Month?
Well, I'm kind of in that camp where, I feel like, every day should be Black History. It should be systemic. Every day we should be thinking about, our brothers and our sisters and, the jobs that they do, the education, the history, all that should be in the forefront of everybody's mind, whether you're white or Black or whatever, So, I honor every February. It's funny, all my films that have a story about Black folks, it's this time of year, they usually kind of pop up, so I kind of look forward to that, but I do think, it's important to keep that, that mindset, especially now, to think about, the families and the communities, because, it's just part of being an American,
And I'm gonna thank you, by the way, Sam. Well, we're here to see a film.
That's right.
and again, thank you for participating and being here and being part of our comprehensive Black History Month experience.
Sure.
It's easy. I won't say it's easy because it's also necessary to focus on civil rights. It's also focusing on slavery, focusing on a number of different issues, injustice. Those things are still relevant today. But we're trying to show a variety of experiences that make up, what it is to be Black, because we're many things. And filmmaking is something else that we do.
Oh, yeah.
Have you always wanted to be a filmmaker? I read your bio beforehand, and you do a lot of things. Tell me about filmmaking and how that impacted you and came into your life.
Well, I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I think it kind of came out of my writing during my education and telling stories. I just felt like I needed to tell stories in a different way. So I started filmmaking late in life. Started actually in my 40s. I started doing documentary film, and I found a community of filmmakers in Maryland. I'm new to Seattle. I haven't been here very long, so I'm getting accustomed to the documentary filmmaking community here in Seattle, which is wonderful. But I felt like for me, it was just a good way of communicating and telling stories about things I thought was interesting. Most of my films are what you might call profile pieces. So they focus on what you might think are ordinary people, but these are people who are just doing amazing things. And I think it's just a way of sharing what they do and sharing their story and giving insight to who they are. Those things I've always been fascinated by that. So I continue to look for fascinating people, and I try to tell their story as sincere and as accurate as I can.
All right. Well, that's why everybody's here. This opportunity to see films that we don't ordinarily get to see, and so excited about this. And I'm gonna get to the film. I'm wondering though, and if you're not, this very. Would you be available for a few minutes afterwards so we can talk a little bit?
Unfortunately, I got another appointment. So I didn't plan on that, but sorry about that. But I encourage everyone to go to my website, Hampton Films, and you can kind of see the catalog. A lot of my films are available on Vimeo On Demand and other sources, but you can learn a little bit more about me at hamptonfilms.com.
Okay, well, yeah, let's do that one more again, because I was thinking, okay, let's get to the film and then we'll do some of that. But yes, for folks who want information, who say, where can I see this? Where can I see more of his work? Give us all that 411 one more again.
Yeah, it's one word, hamptonfilms.com. And that'll take you to my website where you'll see the films that I've made in the past 14 years and links to where you can, well, there it is. Yep. And you can scroll down and you can kind of see where my films have gone and what they've done. And they're very affordable. My films are very cheap. It's $1. So I try to make it, so everybody can see them. It's just my way of getting my films out there.
All right. I'm going to let you set the stage here, and then we're going to go to the film. Obviously, you know how much you want to give away before we see it and how much we don't want to give away before we see it to let folks enjoy the journey. So I'm going to let you set folks up right now. The film is Change in the Family. It's Sam Hampton film. Sam, go ahead, set us up, and then we're going to go into the film.
Sure. This film was screened a couple of years ago at the Seattle Social Justice Film Festival. And so I'm very proud that it was screened here in the area. I made this film a little while ago. I met this young man, and he told me a story about how he was in the middle of he was I guess he identified himself as a trans male, and I thought that was interesting. And so I really didn't know him that much. So I was like, well, tell me your story. And he told me how he started his transition in college, and it was something that he really had to do. And I just thought he was a fascinating person, and I posed the question, would you be interested in me documenting the rest of your transition and kind of telling the story about your life up to this point? And he agreed. And so I'm thinking that's what the film was going to be about. And then I was introduced to his mom and dad and his the rest of his family. He was actually the oldest of three daughters. And after meeting his family and meeting his mom and dad, I kind of switched the emphasis from him, but to the family, because I was really fascinated how the family reacted to him changing into a male. And so I spent about 1.5 years with this family, going there, once or twice a week, and interviewing dad and interviewing mom, and just kind of hanging out and kind of trying to get the dynamics of the family, to get a sense of, how they were going to move forward with this. And so I think it just turned out to be a very fascinating story. I'll tell you one other thing. Dad is he's the kind of dad that filmed everything. He had a little video camera, and he filmed all the birthdays, and he filmed all the first day of schools and the dance lessons and the swimming lessons and all that. And so he gave me years and years and years of family films, and I've incorporated that into the film, so you can see how the subject of the film grew up as a female and then made that transition to a male.
All right. Sam, good meeting you. Looking forward to seeing the film. And once again, thank you for participating. You're listening and watching. Because some folks they're just gonna hear this, because we also have different platforms that we go on. Some
Sure.
people see it, some people will just create theater of the mind imagery for them. Again, we're celebrating and educating folks during Black History Month. This is Friday Family Film Night, a Sam Hampton film, Change in the Family.
That was good, Zoe. Zoe. Hi. Hi, Zoe.
My mom, I love my mom very much, but I actually do sometimes feel like the adult in that relationship. My mom had me when she was 18 years old. She met my father, who was African American and was stationed in England. We lived with my grandmother until my mom remarried my stepfather.
I've had to deal with certain issues. I'm not a closed-minded person. I've had to deal with issues growing up. My sister is mixed race. So when I was little, in the 70s in England, my sister's dad was black, my mum was white. I used to get a lot of kids. I had got a broken nose through it. But I used to get into lots of fights with people about my sister because people were just not accepting. It was a big thing in the 70s to have a mixed race person in the family. You know, they used to say half caste in the 70s. But my sister still doesn't know to this day that, you know, yeah, it was hard. Sorry. Yeah, it was hard.
When you record, you got a blinking red light until you...
Yeah, got it.
You got it now?
I
Okay,
got
sorry.
it.
And then I just start pushing these, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Earl in 1985. My friends would say, I think he likes you. And I'm like, because he was older than me. I didn't quite realize how much older he was than me, you know, well put together.
Michelle is 8 years older than me, so she feels more like a big sister. And so we have a very good relationship. We've always been able to talk pretty openly together.
At least for me to understand she seems okay.
Michelle and Dad were in a relationship for about 7 or 8 years, or at least at that point. And then they got married, and Zo was born.
Zoe came out, she was just a beautiful baby. In my mind, she was 7 pounds even, which was, you know, the average weight for a little girl. I mean, she was just beautiful. Just a beautiful baby. Beautiful baby.
Yeah, when Zo was born, it was really exciting. It was really exciting.
There's Wendy and Zoe.
But Wendy and I had a bond that goes all the way back to the day she was born, and Wendy and I have been extremely close, even though Wendy moved to California 20 years ago. She's been in California now 20 years. We're still extremely close, I have been all the time, and that bond is there, and Wendy loves her father, and I love Wendy.
You know, Dad can be kind of a know-it-all sometimes, but I respect that because he's so smart. Yeah, and I always feel like I can ask for help or advice. So, yeah.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's a good picture.
Oh,
Wendy and Zoe.
yes.
And I appreciate my dad a lot, because honestly and truly, he's been the easiest in my family to, you know, go through this with. He's been very affirming, very, very affirming.
Today is Father's Day, and I have nothing else to say.
I feel lucky for that. I feel very, very fortunate for that, especially because of his age. Because again, I had no idea what to expect when I first came out, especially from him, just because he's 80 years old. My dad is, I have the oldest dad I think I know. I don't think I've ever met anybody my age who has a dad as old as mine. It's not a joke. I'm just very, very fortunate that he's as chill as he is. Yeah.
Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
I'm the last one in my family. There were 7 of us, well, 5 children and mom and dad, and all from North Carolina.
We would go to Hilton Head every summer, and then routinely we would stop by and visit Grandma Thorpe on the way back home.
Willie P can draw faces. Yeah. Look at that's cherry.
That's cherry.
Cherry. That's strawberry. No. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't want your mama done, but I'm gonna get her when I get up.
See, Grandma, these are precious memories.
Look at that pretty hair. Look, Zoe, we're gonna.
My first crushes, like, in life, like, I remember being little and, like, thinking about girls and, like, you know, and kind of gathering, I don't even know how I gathered it, but over time that there was something, like, not normal about that. and kind of learning to just kind of put that to the side.
Zoe was always kind of rambunctious, you know, she was tough. When Zoe was a little girl, 2 years old, she was very insistent on doing what she wanted to do.
Shake it. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. Clap. Pull yourself up. Shake it. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. Clap. Ready? Booey. I can do it. Oh my goodness, let me see you do it. Jump. Run in place.
She was a good girl. I mean, all of them, I think my girls were good girls, you know, they were very obedient. Not obedient in keeping the house clean or keeping the clothes off the floor and that, but, you know, but that's understandable. So, but other than that, she was a good girl. And a little girl.
He was always in the kitchen, newspaper. He'll read the newspaper back to front on a Sunday morning, or every day, but on a Sunday morning in particular. And Zoe, he came in the kitchen one day. Zoe somehow had climbed onto the table. She was a toddler. Put on his glasses and had the newspaper. The glasses were as big as her face. But that's how she saw her dad. It was funny.
Telephone, say bye-bye.
Bye, darling.
Zoe's going to school.
Bye, darling.
Leave the phone, please.
Have a happy day.
This is like one of my most vivid memories. It was like a special day at school, first grade, and we were like making Oreo cookies or something. I don't know, something really cool that I wouldn't want to miss. And it was time to, you know, get ready for school, and my mom wanted me to wear a dress that day. And I just was not having it. Like, I think it was because it was a special day and I just wanted to wear like what I wanted, be like how I wanted to be. And I wasn't having it. And we ended up fighting over it. Because, you know, my mom liked to dress me at that age.
No, we've got you on camera now. Oh, wait till you see this and you
I've got 3 little girls. They were just so fun to dress. I mean, it was just, I don't know. But I remember when Zoe was in maybe kindergarten, you had to wear skirts. Because when I grew up, we wore uniforms. So girls always wore a skirt. And Zoe wanted to wear, I guess, jeans. And I was just like, jeans for school? I mean, and we just battled that day. We battled.
Come on, let's go to school. Oh, Zoe.
Wait till we show you this when you're a good girl.
I remember Zoe telling me, you dress funny. And I'm thinking, no, I'm from England. I mean, you wear skirts for school. So we compromised at that point that I think I said 1 day a week she had to wear a dress or a skirt.
My sister's sort of very, you know, she's got 3 girls. She liked them to be pretty and stuff. And Zoe was always like, wants to be in pants.
And we ended up getting in such like an argument that I just remember crying till I didn't have any more energy. I think I was just kind of like, in my mind, like internalized that experience because I think, like, again, you know, the fight over a dress.
Look what we got. Zoe. Lexi.
Here's the baby.
The baby.
Let me help me.
She was my little sister. What's her name? Scarlett. Yes. Oh, she's opened. Oh, Daddy, she's opening her eyes. Oh, well, she's opening her eyes. Very good. Scarlett. Oh, she knows those voices. Oh, yes. Kiss.
You want to give her a kiss? I'll let you kiss in a minute. No, I'll take her out. We'll take her out and let you kiss. Not now, Liza. Excuse me, Liza.
You hold the Lexi, Mom. I'll get the baby. Let me get it. Hi. Say baby. Yeah, that's right, just like that. Lexi, say baby. And you see her blanket? Zoe's. You give that one back to Alexia.
There's a little pretty one for Alexia and a big pretty one for Zoe. Yeah.
Just yes, you got the horn. Yes. Say baby. Lexi's baby. Zoe's baby. Oh, now you've got. That's fancy pushing spring. Yes, you've got your own babies now.
I grew up in a house of women. So for me, it's an adjustment because I never raised a boy. We love makeup, we love clothes, we would go to the mall.
Actually, she's correct. That was the secret. That was the secret. In my dreams, I used to. Alright, what's your school size? 3. Oh, is that real? No, that's in my dreams too. Alright, now just tell me the truth. I can't remember. Oh, fine. No, just. I feel like I'm on Oprah.
She always to the teacher. And I know she understands and knows everything. But this year, it's like she's come out of herself. And I think it's good that Zoe is no longer here. She's
because she's not.
She's the big sister.
Yeah. See, that was like when I was a few minutes past to say that's what never had to work.
Yes. We love you. Yes.
So part of me feels guilty if I had no idea, and I don't know if Zoe had any idea about himself. Did he not want to dress up like we all did? And, you know, I feel guilty if I pushed Zoe to be more feminine, and I probably did, than he wanted to be, because I didn't know.
Zoe was a tomboy. I remember Zoe had the pogo stick one time, and she jumped that pogo stick. I guess it was 45 minutes. She didn't miss a jump. Zoe just like tomboy things.
My sister would be like, why? I just don't understand why, you know, she's so different. She just doesn't want to do, you know, girly things.
She really got into skateboarding. That was Zoe's passion, was skateboarding. What Zoe told me more recently was that she loved being able to go to skateboard with the guys because when he pulled up his hood off his sweatshirt, nobody could tell that he was a girl. I had no idea. And he just felt free.
Jennifer Quinn.
Don't you know that graduation's very cool? We're on our way to middle school. Oh yeah, lepers finish now. Trumpets say goodbye. Teachers take a bow. Parents start to cry. Celebrating, celebrating.
It's very scary to acknowledge that you're different in such a way. I went to a department store with my mom and her friend. So I ended up going to a dressing room and taking off my shirt and trying on a shirt, and then I just got stuck. I got stuck on the mirror, and it was like an anxiety attack, I would say. And I was looking at myself, and I was like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now, but this is like crazy. Like, this is not a good feeling. And thankfully, I don't think I had any other experiences as tremendous as that first one. But yeah, it was like a full-blown anxiety attack. Like, I was sitting in there. I don't think I cried that day, but I was just like looking at myself.
My sister would be calling me and she'd be saying, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, Zo started pulling out his eyelashes and eyebrows, and got beautiful eyelashes and eyebrows. And it was like, why are you doing this to yourself? You know what? And I was saying to my sister, well, it's obviously some sort of an anxiety issue because, you know, there's something that's obviously bothering her at the time. And my sister was trying to get to the bottom of it, and Zo wouldn't say anything. She took Zo to the doctors.
But not knowing that Zoe had a struggle. I mean, Zoe went through a time in teenagehood where Zoe pulled out his eyebrows and pulled off part of his eyelashes. So I knew there was something going on, but I'm thinking it's the stress of high school. You know, I'm balancing, you know, classes and sports and SATs and pressure of thinking of college.
But on reflection, speaking to Zo now, that I think was round about the time when Zo started his periods. And so that was obviously a big change and was confirming that he was in the body of a woman rather than the way he felt. And so obviously that caused huge anxiety for Zo, which all makes sense now. But at the time we were, you know, well, what is it? Is there something with school? Is there some, you know, what issue is it? But of course we didn't realise at the time.
You know, I recognized that Zoe, I looked at Zoe more of being a natural beauty. I mean, she loved her hair. And Zoe to me had the most, you know, beautiful hair, wild hair, and didn't really need any makeup anyway. But, you know, sort of resisted against much makeup and that was fine, and dressing up per se, that was fine. Unless, you know, if we're going to church or we're going to an event.
Like figuring out, okay, I guess I'm supposed to wear like hoop earrings, like, you know, maybe a little makeup and like going to the bathroom and like overdoing it or something and coming back with like black eyes to class. And my friend was like, what are you doing? like just weird stuff like that. And I was just like trying to do something that was so clearly not me and so clearly like I wasn't comfortable with. But, you know, you think you're supposed to.
So as, you know, girls mature, Zoe was, you know, I'd be like, so, you know, close your legs, you know, because Zoe would just sit with her legs wide open, wearing skirts.
I didn't even learn like about what anxiety really is until like college, like, you know, and you're learning about stuff and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually a thing. And I think I suffer from that. Looking back, like, it was like I was always trying to do the right thing. I was always trying to be something everywhere. I was always trying to, like, I always was trying to figure out, okay, how do you act at this kind of an event? Or what do you do here? Like, especially like, what do girls do here, right?
He did tell me, I think it was the night before he wrote the blog, that he was going to write a blog and reveal some things. And I said, oh, you don't have to tell anybody about yourself. This is your business. He said, no, I want to tell this. he was telling more than I knew he was going to tell. And the thing he was going to tell was that I am transgender. I didn't know he was going to say that.
And I was thinking, well, her chest looks really flat, and you know, where have her boobs gone, sort of thing. You know, it was like, huh? But obviously, clearly, Zo had then decided, you know, this is. But Zo hadn't discussed it with any of us at that point.
Zo sent me a text to say, you know, it's National Coming Out Day tomorrow, and I just want you to know, I will be coming out as trans. So I just wanted you to be aware, and I will also be posting it on Facebook.
You know, I'm trans. I told him I'm transgender, you know, and I didn't think it would come as a total shock, like because over that summer again, you know, had my hair cut, was just wearing, you know, finally what I wanted, and it was like, you know, guys' clothes. I mean, what does that really mean? But it was, you know, a drastic shift from a few years of femininity in college. And they were on the other line, there was some silence for a few seconds, like, you know, anxiety, and you're like, what are they gonna say? And they were just kind of like, all right, well, you know, okay. Like, it wasn't excited, for sure. They were not, I wouldn't say they were pleased. I definitely wouldn't say that they were pleased. I wouldn't say there was a negative response either. It was just kind of a flat affect for the most part. But then, you know, with some, okay, well, you know, all right, you know, like kind of like, you know, we don't want you to feel like, you know, it's the end, right? Okay, I'm gonna be starting testosterone next week. And then I got, oh, what? What? That's not, are you sure that's a good idea?
For whatever reason, I was going into my office early, and I woke up and I thought, oh, Zo's left his light on. So I peeked in, and Zoe was on the computer. I said, what are you doing? He said, I've decided I'm coming out on Facebook. I'm like, oh, and I've written this long letter, and, you know, he read a little bit to me and said, oh, good for you, you know. So I went off to work, and it was probably about 6 hours later, I'm driving home, and my phone starts to ring. And it's my mom and my sister. My mom's in Spain. My sister's in England. And they're like, I'm like, oh, I was going to call you. I wanted to tell you about Zoe. They said, my mom's like, well, I've already seen this on Facebook. And my sister's like, it's like a death. And I'm like, it's not. You know, my child is happy. I was like, and at the time thinking, you know, I was not really a Facebook user. And so I guess it was a shock for them. But I was like, you know, it's a good thing. I mean, Zoe feels great about himself. This is actually a positive, you know. So we, you know, it's, as I said, I'm sorry, it's a shock. You know, I said, but you know, this is how I look at it. Zoe's done us a favor. I don't have to explain to anybody because Zoe's put it out there. And that if Zoe feels proud about it, good for Zoe, you know. And if somebody asks me, now they know.
It's like a bereavement. That's the way it is for me. That's the way I felt, because I was, for a few days, I cried about it because it was that little Zoe that I know is not there anymore. The little girl's not there anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I had to mourn the death of my sister. That's why I cried. That's why I cried. But then I gained a brother. It made me think, you know, maybe he had been feeling this way for a lot longer. And I felt like I wanted to be there to support. And I didn't know how, you know, we could support. I just felt like kind of helpless. And I felt like I felt like he must feel so alone.
It was a perfect shot and Zoe walked right in it. Wonderful. Bye. Okay. All right, big girls.
I don't want to say I've lost a daughter, because I still feel I have my child who I love dearly, but I do miss that part of the relationship where we would, just chit chat about stuff, and trying to give him that space till he figures that part out.
No, I don't
She just raced me on a bike ride.
And I won
And
both
she
races.
won. Well, the first one I wasn't considered because I had to stop.
Yeah.
The second one, however, that could be something to do with Mommy took a Pilates class this morning. So maybe I'm a little tired right now.
But since the transition, it's sort of like, no, keep out. It makes me feel very sad. I'm hoping that as Zo matures a little bit, he'll realize he doesn't have to do that.
He and his mom have been at loggerheads for a long time. I mean, I can go back to maybe 6, 7 years, so 8 years maybe. Let's say Zoe's 23. I go back 10 years. Oh yeah. And I think it was the fact, and when I look back, she would reach out and say, and be dogmatic about things that a girl ought to do and the way she should do it. And Zoe was resistant then. And I wonder, when I think back, was it that he saw himself as a boy?
I felt pressure in ways that I can't even keep up with, to just be what my mom wanted me to be. I don't know, I felt like I wasn't given the other option, the option to be myself in many situations. I didn't feel like, I feel like, and obviously at some point maybe it can be difficult for her it could have been difficult for her to know or understand, but it doesn't, that's why I say it doesn't even necessarily have to do with my gender. It goes deeper, because it's that doesn't even right? Liking sports, that's not me trying to be a boy, that's me being Zo. That's just me being myself, as a person, or me not liking ballet, or me, not wanting to wear a dress to school. That's just stuff that and so the putting pressure, major pressure there, that's not normal. It becomes overwhelming. It became overwhelming.
Because I can remember things going to the point of Zoe would get so frustrated. He pulled the handle off the drawer in there, and so hard. He would slam the door so hard it felt like the room was going to fall down. Matter of fact, when there was a hole in his bedroom door now, the hole has been in that door 6, 7 years. He kicked the door in. I mean, just out of frustration with her. He wouldn't strike at her, but just so this, has been building. I mean, it's been going on. It didn't occur overnight.
My mom doesn't know how much her words affect me and how much how much value I place on her words. Because other people could say that stuff to me, it wouldn't matter. But it's my mom. That's what I'm getting at, is that I have to separate myself for the very fact that I do care so much and I do care about what she thinks of me.
I remember taking him to his little job he had during the summer. He stopped. He said, "Daddy, stop the car. I want to tell you, you're the greatest father in the world." I guess because of the support I was giving him in trying to find himself.
I do feel that I'm the parent of the family, and I mean, Il's a wonderful dad, but Il likes to remain as a wonderful dad, and Il can just sit around, and as long as it's not interfering with Il just pretends he can't hear a thing and just reading his newspaper, So I am the police officer. So I feel with that also, I'm also many times I'm the bitch. But I'm not. I'm really just trying to help you. Have you done this? Have you done that? Did you call your doctor? Did you do this? Do you think you maybe? But I realize maybe I need to let go of some of that too. maybe being, I think you'll always parent your children, but it's not really appreciated.
I think my sister's still struggling, he, she, you know, she says she a lot, which is understandable. Whereas I think Zo gets a bit angry a bit about that he feels that his mum doesn't understand. But I've had to say to Zo, well, Zo, although this is your journey and this is all, you know, it is you, it's not all about you, because this is your mum and your sisters and your dad and, you know, everyone that's close with you. This is very hard for everybody, and everyone, they're all going through a journey with you. It's not just you that's feeling this.
I had texted my mom the other day because I was mad, and she responded saying, I wish you would stop making your life more difficult than it needs to be. Good people love and care about you. You have family that loves and cares about you and your well-being very much. Why don't you embrace that and accept the support of people who genuinely care and are willing to take the time rather than fight against it? Your life doesn't have to be so hard, Zo. You could be a poster child for trans, but you have to accept the love and support rather than fight it. You have a choice. Many don't. Take advantage of what you have rather than feeling guilty about it. I don't feel guilty about what I have, but life is hard enough sometimes with everything going right. Don't make it harder for yourself. Okay?
And this is something that my sister can't fix. She just can't do it. And I think that she is struggling with that this is something that she doesn't have any control over.
He's still close to his mom. Nobody wants to be an enemy with mom, unless there's really a reason to be an enemy. Mom gives him hell about the room and other stuff like that. But, you know, when he sits down and think about it, he'll say, well, I can make them with her, and they'll make up. I've seen it happen too many times in the past. They make up. They do make up.
And I feel like my son is pushing me away. And I wonder, is that part of him thinking this is what men do?
I said, give me a hug. And I hadn't hugged him like this maybe in a couple of years. So I grabbed him, and we both grabbed each other and hugged. And I realized then what those testosterone shots are doing to him. You know, his body is becoming masculine. I grabbed him and hugged him. We just hugged tight, you know, like we always have done all of her life, you know. And that's when I realized my daughter is really transforming into a man. I mean, his gender is changing, and he's happy, and you know, he has a hair on the chin now.
Anything saying don't do it directly had to do with other people's perceptions, not with my own, right? Not with how I felt. And that's, I think, speaks to kind of like this whole experience. That's one thing that I think can be linked like amongst like all queer people or all trans people. Like that's one thing that unifies us, is that at the end of the day, you know yourself, right? It comes from within. You know who you are better than anybody else. You know what you have to do for yourself better than anybody else. If I had waited around for everybody in my life to be okay with me taking tea, I would still not be on tea. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd be sitting here before you today. And that's the honest to God truth.
Obviously Zo is still Zo, but now there's a new person, you know, because obviously Zo's talking differently, dressing differently, acting differently, walking differently.
Mary.
No, stand aside. No, stand aside.
It's getting to know a totally new Zo, as opposed to the little girl. And that's I'm fine with it, but I can see where it's difficult for people, especially people that are really close.
Stop. You can't do that. You can't do it again. I'm not going to do anything. Oh, man.
I'm 13 years old. I'm 13 years old. I'm 13 years old. I'm 13 years old.
May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. Yay! Blow it out, Roy. One good. Make a wish. Like the old.
Please, I hope not.
The old wish. Make a wish.
Hold up. Alright, go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you very, very much. Oh, give me that look at the candle again. That's great.
Oh, don't get me that, please. No.
Come on, let's eat the cake.
That's a good one. Oh, yeah.
Personalities emerging, Henry's more outspoken, Maria quieter. Maria's body at age 4 is finally large enough for doctors to place a dimming kidney, and the girls are still young enough to be able to adapt both physically and psychologically to their new one-leg lives. So the girls will count on another miracle, scheduling the risky and difficult operation. Dr. Rebecca Myers, who separated other twins, will head the surgical team.
Anybody else have any non-X-ray, non-surgery issues that we need to discuss?
Let me get all three of those girls too. Sit there, girls. Don't leave. Don't move till I get over here. Let me get you two.
Hi, Daddy.
Hello, babies. Mwah.
Say hi, Buddy, one more time. Hi, Buddy. Zoe.
What did she do?
You're looking away. Oh, I was. Sorry. Come on, look. Mom, you're taking a picture of your pants.
Not impressive.
Okay, we ready to cross? Okay, one more. Ready? No, nice one.
I think it's going to be a long time for Zo, but I can already see he's happy, you know, the more things are happening, and I know that the next step he's been taught, we've actually talked about, I'm like, well, what's the next step, Zo? And Zo's like, well, you know, mastectomy is the next thing.
We never talked about his breast, the binder, what holds them together. I'm just hoping he'll just live with that.
In general, I'm read as male, which is bottom line makes me tremendously less anxious, makes me feel tremendously better. At the same time, now I'm like, I need to get top surgery now, right? A year ago, that wasn't as high a priority. Now it's like, gotta do it, because like, this is just like, parts of myself are starting to feel like they just need to go.
Hope that memorial trafficking. Hope that she's stopping for gas again. Girl, I just wanna relax again. Pray you gon' bring that shit back again. Pray you gon' bring that shit back again. I know.
Run, run, run. Mama say come home before the street lights do. Ice cream on my front porch and my new football and my A1s too. Watching my happy block, my whole neighborhood hit the diddy.
This sound like growing out my clothes. With stars in my pocket, dreaming about making my hood glow. This sound like every place I would go if I could fly. This feel like every summertime. Fall asleep dreaming about all the places I could go. And every one of them feels so close, still chasing time.
Watching my happy block, my whole neighborhood hit the diddy bop. I don't watching my happy, I know watching my happy, ooh, ooh. Watching my happy block, my whole neighborhood hit the diddy bop.
When I was a kid, you had a box camera, and Mom used to take a picture every time someone got together. It's events in the children's lives, Zoe's life, from the time she was about 2 years old, like I said, until about 14 or 15. And different events, school events, vacations, holidays, birthdays, you name it, snowstorms. So it's sort of a compilation of them in their very candid activities over the years. That's a great looking outfit, Peggy. That's a great looking outfit. Okay. Oh no, you come on. Yeah, you too. I'll get you. I want you too. Come on, Zoe. Get in the car, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Okay, bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye.
Say bye, Dad.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Zoe. See ya. See you later. Bye-bye. And I'm at that stage in life where I go back in my mind with my videos, my pictures. I do it all the time. That's what you do when you're 80. It says, take time to unwind and enjoy your special day. Happy Father's Day. Hi, Daddy. Happy Father's Day. I hope you know I couldn't find a better daddy than you. Enjoy your day. I love you very much. Love, Zoe. Come here, girl. Come here, give me a kiss. My sugar plum. Thank you, Zoe. Check out that sunset. I revisit a lot. I don't do it all the time, but a lot of times I think about, well, let me go back and check out a video. I might give it 20, 30 minutes a day, something like that. And it's just a matter of peace, like to look at the past.
Me as a girl feels like a lifetime ago. Me even having one chin hair, and I think that was probably 11 months ago, feels like a lifetime ago. Basically, since coming out, so much, a tremendous amount immediately just went away.
Along Colville Road, where the trains over.
Yeah.
They hadn't cleared all that property still. I remember that's where Guilford Ice Cream was. Right in there.
Oh. Yeah.
I used to take you down there sometime by that Guilford Ice Cream right in there.
As far as friendships, definitely that was something that made me, I was just very, very concerned with at the beginning. Am I going to lose friends? Truly, am I going to lose family members? Are people just going to not want to be around me anymore? And that, I can't even say that's really happened, which I'm blessed for.
What's that saying? Human beings having a spiritual experience with spiritual beings, having a human experience, and the fact that, Zo has been born in the wrong body, or, just we're all the same, aren't we? Underneath, we've just got these bodies that we use.
There's no reason to be worried, right? People are cool, especially our age. I wonder if I was born 10 years earlier, how much different this process would be, and honestly, if I would have made it out, truly.
You know what has maybe somewhat helped me in understanding this? And I can remember when I was a boy. There was a woman in our neighborhood, and she was a nurse. And she was the nurse. It's in the South. Believe it or not, they had nurses that would visit the elementary school, a black woman. everybody said, her name was Swells. I don't know what her first name, nickname, last name, or whatever. But she was a nice person. And everybody said, oh, she's a, back then, that was a different world. You got to remember, this is in the South. You know how vulgar the people can be. Oh, she's this and that. But I remember she just went her way, and I can never forget, she would come by, my mom and dad ran a grocery store, and that was sort of like a little community center. People would gravitate there in the day. She would come by sometime and have a beer while she's standing there. And she looked and acted like a man, but she was a woman. And everybody said then that, man, she's a woman. You know how the guys on the street would talk, and that went on, and that was implanted in me way back then. That was 70 years ago, or maybe longer, maybe 74 or 5 years ago. I can remember. Remember her at the school coming in and looking at our tonsils and looking at our ears and stuff like that. I can remember that woman from then. So I remember Swells all my life, I thought about, just at different times during my life. I don't know why I thought about Swells. There's no reason for it, but you just flashbacks to things in your life. Something will flash back, and I thought about her, and I haven't seen her maybe in, 60 years at least. 60 years was 1956. No, I know I haven't seen her since then. Probably it was earlier than that.
It's tough because you've known your baby for the last 22 years of their life, as a female, and as supportive as I am, I would hope that from seeing this, Zoe will understand I get it, and I'm very supportive, and I love you. You're my baby and always will be, but you have to allow me a little time too. And as much as I'm trying, it's tough. It's not tough to acknowledge where you want to be, but it is tough to just see you totally as a male for me, because all my memories of you are she.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Houston, Texas leaders unveiled a 2-block mural dedicated to George Floyd and located directly in front of his alma mater, Jack Yates High School. Carl Davis, chairman for the Houston Society for Change, said during the dedication ceremony, quote, "We come to celebrate the life and legacy of our hometown hero, Mr. George Floyd," unquote. 46-year-old Floyd, a black man, died in May after Minneapolis police knelt on his neck for over 8 minutes. The mural in George Floyd's honor was commissioned by Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis, the Houston Society for Change, and 88 CHUMP, CHUMP, a nonprofit activism organization that was created by George Floyd's teammates, according to CNN affiliate KPRC.
And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Lock in fresh juice with the newest hip-hop and R&B.
Every Wednesday night from 9 to 11 p.m.
on Rainier Avenue Radio. You know we got the dopest artists rocking with us every single week. It's myself, D-Money.
Taylor Hart.
And Pint-Sized Patron. This is Fresh Juice every Wednesday. It's Trilltopia.
Do you know what to do if you think you might have COVID-19? Or what to do if you know you've been exposed? Here's how you can help protect your community. Stay home if you're not feeling well, even if you have mild symptoms. If you were in contact with someone who's sick, stay home while you watch for symptoms. Help may be available to get groceries and supplies. Get tested as soon as you can. Free testing may be available. Respond quickly when a contact tracer gets in touch. An interviewer will ask about people you've been in close contact with. You can follow these 3 steps to help find and stop the spread of infections. When everyone in your community does their part, businesses and schools can reopen safely. Find a testing location and learn more at coronavirus.wa.gov.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media. Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Well, all right. Welcome back to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It is Friday Family Film Night. And that was a documentary, a Sam Hampton film, Change in the Family. So now you know that this documentary chronicled the transition of Zo Thorpe, Zoe, and his sympathetic family through the complexity of young adulthood and being a person of color and coming out as trans and gender nonconforming. Change in the Family. Sam Hampton film, part of our celebration and education of the Black experience during Black History Month right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This Tuesday coming up, we'll have the Chicago Steppin' as part of our dance series. An opportunity for you to see dance exhibition of the styles of steppin', doing steppin', you know what it is. Then Benjamin Hunter live at the historic Columbia City Theater. Benjamin Hunter live, just incredibly talented individual. Will be doing a combination of playing and singing and storytelling. And then next Friday will be our final night of the Friday Family Nights, and we'll have Anthony Tackett, who you may have seen earlier. He was moderating the panel discussion on sales, marketing, and distribution for anyone, but in particular the Black independent filmmakers. So that's it right there. Next week, he'll be showing a short story called Malik. And then it'll be the debut of Black June. This was a film that he made during the following George Floyd's murder, during the riots that took place, the civil unrest whatever you want to call it, an awakening, a realization of, by a greater number of folks, the disparities and racial injustice that was impacting the Black experience. And so that's, that's coming up next. That's going to be the last one, and that'll be Anthony Tackett and Black June. And I think this is the first time that anybody will ever have seen this piece that he's been working on. So make sure and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And then we'll also have a panel discussion right prior to that from 6 to 7, where we'll be talking about inequities in the Seattle film industry and what's being done, what people are trying to do, what people would like to see done. That's going to be a great panel, and that'll come on at 6, and then the film will come on at 2 films. One is a very short one. The other, they will start at 7 o'clock. We'll talk with Tack a little bit before those films too. So we've just got a lot planned for you all week long. It don't stop. One more week. Went by fast. It's going by fast. And tomorrow, from the Columbia City Theater, the historic Columbia City Theater, Nobi and Friends, rap, hip hop. That should be cool. All right. Nobi and Friends. We're going to finish up the following Saturday with Experience and OG Squeak Nutty Bug. Again, more rap and hip hop for you on Saturday. Experience. OG Squeak Nutty Bug was supposed to perform on the 13th. But it snowed, so we pushed him back a couple of weeks, and you're going to get 2 for your money, which is, it don't cost you any money, so you just get 2. That'll be and that'll be it. That'll be our last Black History Month event. So I hope you enjoyed the film Changing the Family. I hope you are enjoying our entire month-long series of events across the spectrum, ways for you to engage in the Black experience. We call it a celebration and education of Black history during Black History Month. It's a call to conscience. Well, we are going to return you to your regularly scheduled programming right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. That's it. That's all the time I have. That's going to do it for the kid. It's me, Tony B, saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. I'm out. Peace.